We're going to be talking about the Cuba stuff. So for those of you who aren't aware, would have been sometime last week, there was a flotilla, heavy air quotes on that because there was a lot of planes, but a flotilla going over to Cuba to give them much needed reciprocity and assistance in helping them out and to help the people because of the big bad American government, because the government is bad and America did bad things, even though actually there's a lot of other countries that are involved with this and it's not just America, but that's besides the point. And the main reason, I don't normally do politics, okay? I don't normally do super heavy political videos or anything like this, but this is a special one. This is a special one because our good buddy Hassani boy over there, he went over to Cuba to help out the Cuban government, because let's be fair here, guys, Cuba is a communist dictatorship, and whenever you send any sort of assistance, aid, or anything like that, all that goes through the government, in which it is given to the government officials. Barely any of it is actually going to go out to the overall people of Cuba. But I have this video here from Steven Crowder. It is 34 minutes long. We're probably not going to do the whole thing because I have skimmed some of it. There are like joke segments and everything like that we could end up just like skipping over, but we got this, and we got some fallout from that Hassan actually has to address after all this. So why don't we start this? I'm going to turn down the background music and we will get going.
Government makes it illegal for Americans to stay wherever they want.
That is also false. This is him also, they'll get into this, but this is him addressing him staying at a 5-star hotel. That is false. Actually, no. Slightly, it's true, but not in the way that he wants you to believe it is.
They're in Cuba. They have to stay in what they've declared as 5-star hotels.
The American government says you just can't stay at government-owned properties, and we recommend that you stay at individual Airbnbs so that your money will go directly to people. Hassan Piker chose to stay at the 5-star hotel, which he
I don't think he chose to stay. I think it was the whole little group, because it was like Code Pink sending over a flotilla to help aid the Cuban government, not the people. But yes, he stayed at a 5-star hotel while staying in Cuba, but we'll get into more of this because it is ridiculous what is going on over there.
Wants you to know isn't all that nice. Cuba, I talked about that last week. We had Spanglish Generation on.
Yeah.
I have quite a bit of experience with Cuban Americans personally, and I've spent some time in Cuba. It was, I would say this, it was one of my formative experiences. I found out I was right-wing in 7th grade drama class when my drama teacher said we need to give back all the land to Native Americans, and I had just come from history class, and in Quebec we had the Algonquins and the Iroquois.
I don't really give a crap on all this one because I want to get into the Cuban stuff. I do respect his opinion here, but if you want all that, we're just going to jump ahead a little bit because I already saw this because I watched this one live.
I went home, asked my dad, what does that mean, right wing?
Oh, what an Algonquin.
Yeah, I'm going to
give us baseline budgeting. Spent time in Havana. There were blackouts then, just so you know. The entire hotel, we had to go to a restaurant that was in somebody's house. Everything was candlelight. This is nothing new.
That sounds romantic.
It is, except for the abject poverty.
Oh,
yeah. And I got
the
very,
smell
very
from the not working toilet. Okay.
And I got very sick. But
because
I saw that, and then
and the reason he got sick, and like not the sick, but like I might react to the Spanglish interview that he did, but this has been like Cuba for years. As long as I've been alive, this has been the way Cuba has been, where it has just been objectively awful. It has always been falling apart, and it's not because of anything America has done. Make no mistake, this is solely because of the communist dictatorship that is over there, where they have people wanting to do whatever it takes to get over here, willing to cross ocean on whatever sort of raft they can make and risk death. They would rather go over to Guantanamo Bay than be in Cuba. That's how bad Cuba is.
I believe I was 16, saw Canadians going on vacation to the beaches, coming home, and back then showing everyone their Polaroids, going, no, 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 it's great. And I remember being so mad. This is before the term privilege, white privilege, was really a thing. But that really stuck with me.
And also all those liberals, he's talking mainly Canadian, but all those really well-to-do liberal types, all the wealthy individuals that would go over there and just live it up and everything because they get to have these nice, luxurious vacations over there, all while the people of Cuba suffer. You couldn't give them tips. You can't do anything like that, or else the people get in trouble. It is nightmarish to think about that. Cuba is a beautiful place. Wonderful people come from Cuba. I mean, I really do love Pitbull and Pitbull's music, so come on. But it's awful to know that this place has just lived there for so long and has been a center point to so many different political skirmishes that we just allow it to be there when we shouldn't allow this to be here. We should kick out the commies. We should. They're bad peoples.
And here's the thing you need to understand. You can't help people. It's not possible if they live under a communist regime. Mm-hmm. It's not possible because the regime will ensure that none of your help goes to those people.
The only way to help them is to get them out.
That's exactly right. The only way to help them is to force some kind of regime change by any levers you can pull. So that brings us to this weekend. The Nuestra America Convoy, organized by Code Pink, okay. Those lovely ladies.
You just gotta love tards like this. You gotta love them. You gotta love them. Do they say how much? Oh yeah, here's the supplies. Code Pink, I cannot say that. Well, convoy delegation departed Miami today, Friday, March 20th, for Cuba to deliver 6,300 pounds of urgently needed medicine and medical supplies, including neonatural equipment. I cannot say that word, catheters, and other critical hospital materials. The supplies valued at $433,000. Man, that's a lot of money right there. That's a lot of value right there, to be honest with you, to an entire country of I don't know how many people. More than that, like that's a lot of money going for very little. Like that's a lot. That's very little. That's a very small amount overall. When you actually start sitting down there and breaking down like the numbers, like this is barely anything.
Arrived in Cuba with $400-something thousand worth of supplies, enough food for not even themselves on their own trip.
Really?
Yeah, and they went with Code Pink, a bunch of angry, shrieking feminists, an Irish rapper, and a Turkish communist in $3,000 glasses. And
oh, that's hilarious. We'll get more into that. Hassan wore literal like $3,000 glasses, $900 shirts, a couple $1,000 disturbing ring. All this stuff would feed the entirety of Cuba for an entire month, if not more. All of his clothes alone, that amount of money would feed them for a long ass time because they live on like $13 a week.
They want you to know that, hey, they're doing the right thing by going and helping the Cuban communists. Sorry, I mean the Cuban people or they're supporting whatever. Just watch their social videos.
We saw at least.
Oh my God! What is that creature? What is this creature? What the hell is this thing? This is not a person. I do not believe this is a person. Your nose is too high up. Your eyes are too fucking like. I want to say these are too big, but at the same time, they look small. What is this thing? Is this caused by plastic surgery? What is this monstrosity I'm looking at right here? What on earth? I feel like this is a paralysis demon of some sort.
Made some news, the fact that there was an outage of electricity on the whole island. We're gonna.
Oh my God, her voice is so shrill. It makes me want to just go. It makes me want to join the 41%. It makes me want to get on estrogen just so I can join the 41%.
Reports for the Cuban people.
Cuba sí bloqueo no. Cuba sí bloqueo no. Cuba sí bloqueo no.
I think that boiled down to democracy wins or something like that. And Cuba!
They're under the cosh from the United States. They've been under the cosh from the United States ever since 1960. But this time it's kind of worse. And it's more.
They've been, because ever since the commies took over, they've been living under us? And why is it worse now? What makes it worse now? Because we're actually trying to do something about it?
Worse, because President Trump has said he wants to destroy Cuba.
The regime, which Cubans actually want. I mean, they were burning down their country just a few weeks ago because they were tired of the commies.
Most other presidents have used
Destroy the regime.
language.
When did he say
The
that?
Iranian
And
regime.
as criminal as this blockade is,
I can smell the cat piss from this picture. I can smell it.
the intensification of the economic warfare against Cuba.
No Cubans,
Even
by the
though
way.
they don't have electricity, they're so rich. They're so rich in love, and they keep spreading that love to all of us.
Oh,
They spread that love to you because they have nothing else to spread. They're out there begging you to take them home. That is what they are doing with you. It's not because they have anything better to do. They don't have jobs.
This system, this rigorous sanctioned system, actually dominates their lives in very meaningful ways.
The communism?
And yet we don't even know about it. Most Americans don't even know about it. And I would go.
That feels like it's a good thing. It dominates their lives in very meaningful ways. That sounds like you're saying that's a good thing that's happening over there. Like you have no better words to actually say to that.
So far as to say, even a lot of Cubans don't know about it either.
Well, you should tell them.
To leave a
You're there.
and vision of humanidad. This is the mural for humanity, and it's going to have little boats with.
what are you doing to my goal?
You're painting a mural for them. Why? Why are you painting a mural for them?
There are the supplies that will be going directly to the government.
None of that's going to the
On our
people.
way to Cuba, we have lots and lots of medical supplies.
That is what we need, Mrs. Droopy Dog Face.
Oh. No, I don't think it's Droopy Dog Face. I think it looks like plastic surgery gone wrong and this is a paralysis demon. That's what I see.
And those crates, those boxes, that's then being intercepted by the how much you want to bet that'll be in the black market or powering their individual suites and mansions while the
100%. The people of Cuba aren't ever going to see that goods. This was all just a political PR stunt, trying to get some sort of social credit or anything like that. In reality, none of that is actually going to the people. Not a single little bit of that is actually going to go to the everyday people of Cuba. None of it will ever see them. It's all going to the political elites over in Cuba. The thing that you guys say that you hate so much, down with the bourgeoisie. Yeah, they're gonna get all that shit because, well, that's what happens over there.
people starve.
This is not the first time you've made this point. You actually called it prior.
Come, let Zoltar tell you more.
I translate the next pitch ball right past the flag.
We're going to win the game, I guarantee.
What do you think the chances are that Hassan Piker will be delivering supplies straight to the Cuban people, bypassing the government, or do you think it'll be going to the government for them to distribute?
Every single thing that arrives in Cuba goes through the government. The only reason they're going to Cuba and being allowed to do this whole charade is because it's already been filtered.
By the way, that was Spanglish Generation. She actually was born in Cuba. She's lived there part of her life. She ended up, her husband's actually also from Cuba. They now live in Miami, Florida. I'm pretty sure they know how the Cuban regime and the Cuban government actually works over there, considering they were from there. Again, that was a great interview. I actually suggest people go check that one out.
Come, let Zoltar tell you more.
I translate the next pitch ball right past the flag.
We're going to win the game,
I guarantee it. I watch this too much. I want to know where the "we're gonna win the game, I guarantee it" line comes from. I have been dying to figure out where that clip is, because it's so cringe. The way it gets delivered, "We're gonna win the game." I want to know what that is from. I need it. I require it. The way the guy is saying it is so preposterous.
How did I know?
What? Yeah. And first of all, I want to say, whoever donated $455,000 worth of stuff, that's very nice. But how do they think that's gonna get to 11 million people? How does that distribute to 11 million?
And
it doesn't. That's not enough money to give out to 11 million people. That's not enough supplies to even try to give out to 11 million people. You have to give it to the government over there. That is how communism works. It is distributed amongst the people. It's supposed to be distributed amongst the people. Then it's nowhere near enough. It goes to the government. The political elites get everything they want. You're never going to see this stuff. None of you are going to see this stuff. It's going to cost an arm and a leg just to touch it.
Spirit of it, nice. They're actually, it'd be like if you see, let's say there's a tyrant on a block, right, who is ruling with an iron fist, raping, starving, killing everybody, and they say, hey, we need help, and you go, oh, great, and give that bully $430,000. That they are enabling
the bully
and empowering the government.
And this is something that Hassan did. Because America bad. Because America bad. America is the bad people. Cuba is great. Look at how wonderful Cuba is. Look at all the people in Cuba in this very specific area that we are allowed to film, and no other areas we are allowed to film.
Which will ensure the people remain oppressed for as long as the government can get away with it. The government will ensure that people live in poverty while they live high on the hog. It's never happened any other way. It's never taken place any other way. There is no example of communism where that has not been the case. Maoist China, you look at Pol Pot, you look at Stalin.
I mean, a really good thing. I do suggest people check it out. Preferably read Superman Red Sun. Love Superman Red Sun. It's a great retelling and a great depiction of actually how communism works, to the point that even Superman can't figure out how to make communism work. But in the actual graphic novel itself, or the miniseries, whatever you want to call it, it shows, Superman being at these lavish galas, the lavish things prior to him taking out Stalin, prior to the death of Stalin and him taking over. He was at these lavish events, these lavish things, and then you saw the gulags. Then you would see how the everyday people acted, how to handle, how they were just impoverished all over the place. Oh, while Superman and the people in the political party, they were lavishing it up. Wonderful galas, wonderful events, big old mansions. That's reality. That's not even a joke. That is how it really goes down. And again, I suggest reading the comic over the actual movie, because the movie is not that good.
Of course, you can look at the Castros, Guevara. All of them individually lived the decadent lifestyle that they champion against,
because it's all about power. Everything here is about power, 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 power for myself. That is all it ever is. It's not actually about benefiting the people. It is about stealing power for oneself and doing whatever it takes to have that power so you can have the decadent lifestyle. That's all it's ever been about.
The people live in poverty. Not one example to the opposite. So maybe that's why you can contrast these wealthy leftists supporting, enabling communism, which, by the way, they've told you that. They've told you that's what they want to do, while the Cuban people, who overwhelmingly, when you look at any data, and it's very hard to find because the government isn't too keen on transparency, overwhelmingly oppose their communist regime. Maybe that's why you see the contrast between these people, five-star resort, and the Cuban people living in total darkness this weekend.
Oh, by the way, listen to that wonderful music there. Listen to all that. Guess where that's coming from?
The only thing lit up was the hotel where they were staying.
Sweet car.
This is sick and disgusting. To know that Hassan allowed this to happen, like participate in this, not just allowed this to happen, but help facilitate this. To know that these people did all this. Again, it's going out there into the streets with all the little people, all the lessers, okay, all the dirty, disgusting. See, I gave you a piece of fruit. Now thank me. And then you go up into your lavish mansion. Oh, well, that person who you just gave a piece of fruit to is getting shanked because, well, other people want that piece of fruit. That's all you did here. You treated the people like Cuba nothing more than political pawns. And now you want your pats on the back. So you go back to your lavish hotel instead of actually helping benefit anybody here. Instead of doing anything actually good here, you just wanted to make it look like you were doing good, when in reality you were doing nothing more than being sick, disgusting, barbaric people, helping to enable an actual awful oppressive regime because you're too... I don't know. At one level, there has to be stupidity mixed into this, but at the other level, I think you fully know what it is that you're doing. You want to lie to the people to think that you're actually doing good, when in reality, you are nothing more than sick, depraved monsters.
Ah, look, Cuba looks fine. Jeez. Whoops.
And I want, again, like I was beside myself this weekend, think of this level of evil. People going, hey, we're starving. Please, just can you guys get the government out? Don't give them anything. They're just going to use it to oppress us more. And then white liberals going, shut up. No, the government is good. And just to be clear,
white liberals that don't even live on the island. They're not from there. They're coming from decadent areas here in the States. They're coming from areas like California, well, I'm including an Irish rapper. They're coming from decadent areas, decadent lifestyles, all to come over here to say, the people don't know any better. They're all stupid. Shut up. The government is fantastic. Don't listen to the people. Ignore the fact that they burnt down a government building just a few weeks ago.
I have said their allegiance is to communism. I mean it. That's not hyperbole. They can't even make the argument that actually, well, hold on a second. You know, we do want to work with the government to help the people, but maybe there can be some reform. No, the Code Pink-backed envoy, these people gave a standing ovation to Cuban dictator, tyrant, communist Miguel Diaz-Canel. Here's the video. They are saluting a tyrant.
You don't despise these people enough. You don't despise these monsters enough. This is the bourgeoisie that they always go around there saying are the bad people. This is what they are. By the way, I'm looking in the background. There's a Palestine flag. Because of course there is. Of course there is. There has to be. These people are all fucking sick, deranged, evil monsters. They are all awful.
Now take this into context. By the way, we live stream at 11 a.m. Eastern. If you're watching a clip, we do it every weekday. That guy ordered basically the ban of any artistic displays in Cuba outside of those approved by the government.
What? So then that mural, guys, realize that mural that they were painting had to be okayed by the government. What you might, I believe this clip has, what you'll see a little bit later, was ordered by the government and allowed by the government. Not everybody else. You aren't allowed to have fun. You're in pitch black darkness, you're not allowed to have fun. People at the 5-star hotel, oh, you guys get to have a load of fun.
That was one of his first acts. He arrested, fined dozens of people for internet posts criticizing the regime. And by the way, the fine is 3 times the average monthly salary. This is a guy who...
Again, these people freak out over the fact that we are trying to charge Don Lemon with violating people's actual rights. And they say that's against the First Amendment. They say you're violating his free speech. Ignore the rights of anybody going to church. Ignore all that. No. But it's okay that this dude is throwing in political dissidents for posting stuff that he disagrees with. It's okay for that. Cuba good, America bad.
Imprisoned 1,500 people for protesting over the economy. Not for acts of violence, for protesting.
Imagine if this was happening, if this was legitimately happening in America. They say it's happening to America, but it's objectively not. Only losers and tards believe that. But think if that was actually happening here. Even I would be speaking out against it, and I'd be locked up for it. All those anti-ICE protests, all those anti-ICE events, all the No Kings protests, you'd be locked up for that if you did that over in Cuba. No, but Cuba good, America bad.
Hey, maybe the reason that the power only was on in the hotel in that convention center, as opposed to anywhere else in Cuba, was because this dictator, this tyrant, wants people like this, who he knows will support him, to go out and champion his cause on social media. Maybe he wants them to push the propaganda while...
Oh, he definitely does want them to push the propaganda, but here's the reality. Here's the cold hard facts, okay? He really just needs to give him a decent time, because they're gonna do it for him no matter what. As long as he gives them like an okay time, something that they're not gonna be complaining about, they'll do it freely. He doesn't have to even really try, because they're already doing it. Prior to this, they were out there doing it. Now he just has to basically give them a parade and a party and go like, here you go. You did the work for me. Thank you very much. Have fun and keep it up. It's not because he wants them to do it. It's because he likes that they're already doing it. Again, they were doing it long before this because they're awful, evil, monstrous people that you don't hate enough.
People starve. Do you get how evil this is?
Mm-hmm. That's a very important thing to remember there. In 2018, ordered all artistic displays to be government approved. So that wall they're painting,
approved. That
was approved, if not mandated or guided. That concert, all the videos are taken, everything had to be approved.
Yep.
They didn't have, and they go in there, oh, I'm doing that. No, you had no say in any of it.
Yep. And every single person who they encounter would have to be people approved by the communist regime.
All the people they might have done interviews with, talked to, discussed stuff with, all of that, that's A-okayed by the commies. All the people saying, oh, we love it here, Cuba is great, America bad. Those were done by government officials. They treat you like you're stupid. They think that you're idiotic, that you can't see through the lies, the manipulation, and the bullshit. And the sad thing is, there's some people that are just too idiotic, too dumb, don't know any better, that believe it. Like, oh my God, look at what we're actually doing to the Cuban people. Oh my God, America's a terrorist nation. Look at what they're doing to the Cuban people. Libertarians are even falling for it. Liber-fucking-tarians are supporting communists. Make that shit make sense.
And then these people go out on social, go, oh, the Cuban people actually love the... You literally can't leave the premises from where it has been entirely orchestrated.
Yeah.
As nothing more than propaganda. So let's go through the key players pushing this evil. And I mean evil. People are dying because of communism.
And it hasn't just been recently. This hasn't been, that's Big L. No, static. It's not just the big L's. It's not just the big L's. A lot of libertarians, small L's included, are hating on America because they're blockading. They're continuing the blockade of Cuba and not allowing them to have oil. And they say that that's a terrorist act right now and that America's a terrorist country, because they're punishing the citizenry of Cuba for their government. If the oil got there, the government still wouldn't give it to the people. And I say this, okay? I say what he's saying there. I go back to the Spanglish interview, which I might have to do a reaction on. Spanglish generation, or that chick that you saw for like a little bit. I wish she would. I should have showed it more. She grew up in Cuba. She was born during the 80s. She lived there. She saw herself being born, like her parents were born there. She talked about the day she was born and how awful it was on her family. She talked about all of that. That's been going on for years. That's been going on for years over in Cuba. Static. Dave Smith literally said that I'm not even joking. Dave Smith said America is a terrorist country because of what we're doing over in Cuba right now. I'm not even joking. That was on Piers Morgan today.
In Cuba, and these people want that government. Make no mistake, that's why.
And reminder, Dave Smith is the leader of the Mises Caucus, which is supposed to be the more moderate libertarians and the reasonable libertarians.
Why they saluted them. That's why they give them a standing out. They want that government to remain in power because America bad. Kneecap, an Irish rapper, I guess.
What? They got the best kind of rap.
Yeah. Tibia was taken.
Listen, I'll say this. There's some good Irish music out there. There's a decent, I don't want to say he's folk, but he's more pop. I guess he's technically a pop singer over in Ireland. He's pretty good. There's a couple good Irish bands that I actually do like listening to because Irish music is good. And also I'm part Irish. So yes, I like Irish music, but Irish rap, no thank you. Listen, we could sit. There's some good songs we got over there. There's some great music and great sounds from over there. I don't want to listen to you guys rap. That sounds that sounds atrocious. I could barely understand you.
But 2 Chainz wasn't available?
So he decided to show up and support Cuba's tyrannical.
And you're right, Static. He is super gay.
Regime.
I might need to pause this just because he's actually like playing the music, but this here, Kneecap Havana, this here is apparently Irish rap.
Oh, it's awful.
Oh, a bouncy.
Oh, look at that, guys. Look at them having a great little party. Code Pink's having a party for the commies. He's having a party for the commies. Again, I'm pausing it because I might get copyrighted because fuck the commies. Because obviously, listen, he's a commie. He supports communism. Obviously, he would never copyright me for the music that he's singing, right? He absolutely wouldn't do that. Oh my God, I have to pause it just because of how bad it is. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's all I'm hearing. I'm just something da. That's all I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I think I did hear da da da. I think I just heard da da da.
Also, the remaining places that had power outside that hotel went out right after their concert.
They get to have a big old party, guys. They get to have a big old party. Code Pink and commies get to have a big old party. The rest of the country doesn't. The rest of the island actually lost all of its power. The rest of the people throughout all of Cuba started suffering after you threw your big old party for yourselves because of how great you did. Oh my God, look at all those goods that we brought to the Cuban government. Now we're going to pat ourselves on the back. Oh, Hassan is out there going like, I'm such a great person. Pat myself on the back with this big old party. Ignore all the suffering I'm causing. You don't hate these people enough.
Whoops.
Including 5 hospitals, by the way.
Dang.
While he's up there in...
And it was being reported that everybody in one of those hospitals, everybody died who was on ventilators. I don't know how true that is. That was being reported. Kind of sounds like propaganda, which I don't like, but at the same time, it could potentially be true because it is Cuba and the medical supplies that they do have, even when the government allows them to have it, isn't really that great.
Cuba saying, free Palestine. Yeah, that's what the Cuban people need. They need you to sermonize on Palestine. He even confirmed this, by the way. This is not hearsay. You can check out the references. We make them available every show. He wrote, even in Havana, with the power cutting out shortly after our gig, the message of solidarity to Palestine remains the same.
I can barely feed you want me to believe that these people who can barely feed themselves, have no power, have no ability to actually do what it is that they need to do on a daily basis, have to live on $13 a month. It's either a week or a month. I always get that one a little bit wrong. Correct me. I think it's probably a week. They get paid so little. They care more about what's going on in Gaza and Palestine. Miss me with that bullshit.
F off.
No bleep needed for that. By the way, it's not just an individual. Kneecap is the group name, not the individual.
I don't
name, but
care.
Yeah. No, I don't care either.
I know.
But I want to make sure
I know.
don't have anything
Kneecap
to
the
complain
group.
about.
I'm sorry. It's like the Beastie Boys, but gay.
What are there, two of them?
So he acknowledges the power went off. So there's no power anywhere else on the island. There was some power, right there around the hotel. Hey, do you think that members of the Cuban government can't hit a crank and let people boil their water? No.
Well, they could. They just don't want to. That's for them. Not the everyday people. Why would we ever benefit the people? Why would it ever work for the people?
Oh, of course they want to starve their people. For the same reason they have to have armed guards protecting these approved artists so that they don't get torn limb from limb. But he wants to use this platform to push Palestine. They want this government in power. Hassan Piker.
Jeez.
Here's the best parts.
Is the other player here. And I'm going to fact check what he told you. It's just factually incorrect. He seems to be getting dumber. He flew commercial, looked like they were flying first.
By the way, the reason he seems to be getting dumber is because he's more brazen in his propaganda. He's just going full propaganda mode. That's why he seems to be getting dumber. He does not give a shit anymore. He's just going to do whatever it is that he wants to do to get power, because all this is about power and control.
Class, I have no problem with it, except for when you say you're going on a flotilla and you're doing this in solidarity with the Cuban people. Stayed at a 5-star hotel, the Grand Hotel Bristol in Havana. The cheapest room is like over $200 a night.
I could potentially afford that if I save up like 2 months worth of fucking income. I could end up affording that. That's still 5 stars, but Jesus Christ, he went there. He chose to go there. Okay, I'm gonna give Hassan a little bit of slack here, okay, with what we're about to do. I don't know if he chose to go to the 5-star hotel or was told, hey, you're gonna stay at the 5-star hotel. Okay, I don't know that part. But where we're about to go with this, I'm cutting him a little slack because I don't know for sure. I don't want to say he chose to do this. He might have been told he's gonna do this and didn't really put up much of a fight. I will be very clear on that.
The average,
but at the same time, it's still not good.
Salary for someone in Cuba is $13 a month, just to be clear.
$13 a month. So I was right with that one. God, that I feel even worse because I thought it was a week.
Piker misinformed his audience. He wants you to know he was forced to stay at the 5-star hotel by the American government.
Yeah, I call bullshit on that part. It was not the American government that forced you to stay there. It would probably be the Cuban government, but not the American government. And I'm really betting when the Cuban government said that you're going to be staying here, you really put up a big old fight on that one.
The American government makes it illegal for Americans to stay wherever they want when they're in Cuba.
Lie. Oh, by the way, we'll come back to this clip here because that's him drinking a nice little espresso.
They have to stay in what they've declared as 5-star hotels, right?
Wrong.
Oh, poor you.
I'm telling you all this because, like, even the 5-star hotels are not like,
not good enough, huh?
Not for a guy with.
It's not like it's what the American government has declared 5-star hotels.
Yeah.
It's all the American government. It's the American government. Listen, the American government called this a 5-star hotel. It's all the American government. The American government's the reason I did this. Well, here's the
gross American government. Enjoy those $2,000 Cartier pedophile glasses. Here's the truth.
Cute little espresso cup.
Yeah. The truth is the opposite of that. It's actually the opposite. Americans are only prohibited from staying at government-owned properties. And there are plenty of people who do missions trips or do charity work, right? There are exemptions. The American policy is actually officially to encourage that people stay at individual homes. They're called casas particulares, if I'm pronouncing that. Particulares. Meaning the American government says you just can't stay at government-owned properties, and we recommend that you stay at individual Airbnbs.
I wonder why. I wonder why they would suggest you stay at the Airbnbs. I know Steven's about to tell us why, but I wonder why they would rather you stay at the individual Airbnbs instead of the government-owned properties. I wonder why. I mean, before Steven even tells us why would you think that would be the case? Go to the individual. or help out the commie government. What would you think? Maybe it's because the individual actually gets that money and the commie government doesn't. Just a thought.
So that your money will go directly to people.
I still doubt that's how that actually works. It probably still goes to the communist regime, but I don't know the intricacies of that little bit. But yes, it's to help out the people. But hey, you know, Hassan did a good thing. He went there and he raised awareness.
Hassan Piker chose to stay at the 5-star hotel, which he
again, I'm gonna say he might not have chose to stay there, but he probably didn't put up much of a fight.
Wants you to know isn't all that nice. Does it get any more obvious as far as limousine liberal, if people use the term champagne socialist? Could it possibly be any more obvious that these people are loyal to communism and that they're evil?
It could be more obvious, but here's the thing: either people choose to be naive about it, or they're too retarded to actually recognize it. That's kind of how it is. They either think that it benefits them in the long run, that Hassan just makes a mockery of their ideology and their way of life and whatever they want to have happen with their revolution, or they're okay, or they're just too dumb to realize it.
It's fine though. Cubans love actually having no power, being broke, while artists from other countries get to play in a hotel with a bouncy house.
Yeah,
it's true.
They obviously love it. They obviously adore it. Why wouldn't you love it? You can barely afford to even feed yourself or your family. Obviously, you want foreign artists to have a great time.
One of my favorite places officially. I totally understand why.
Again, every country that is a commie country, he loves more than anything else. He loves China. He loves Cuba. Every country that has commies in it, he loves.
Will was saying that about Cuba. It's remarkable. The people's resilience is remarkable. There's like rolling blackouts that take place throughout the day, every day, all around the country, right?
Yes, because of the government.
Why?
11 million people. But today is a beautiful day out here. It's like 75 degrees, sunny.
Oh.
People are partying.
I wonder why they're out there chilling, why they're out there having a good old time trying to just survive. I wonder why they're doing that, Hassan. Have you thought that little bit through? Have you thought that little nugget through of why they're outside doing stuff instead of, being at work, and why they're outside chilling instead of going to work and making money? Have you thought that little bit through?
People are partying in the streets. I don't know if it's like an island mindset. I don't know if it's like, I don't know if that has something to do with it. I'm sure that has something to do with it, but like, they're just chilling. Like, Cubans just, they vibe. They chill.
They vibe.
They're vibing.
They chill.
What the?
I wonder why. Could it be because they have nothing to do? Could it be that there's no work, no capabilities, that they're doing whatever it is that they could, and that they are just basically out there on the street corners because there's nothing else to do? Again, this is a country that has 13-year-old prostitutes that will go up to anybody that comes from outside the country and beg them to take them away as their wives. That's what they do. These people will do whatever it takes to get a little bit of money to survive. That's why they're so resilient, because their government has oppressed them so much. It is impressive to see the Cuban people survive this long. My heart goes out to them, don't get me wrong, and I love them. But the government is the problem here. It's not America. And the reason they're living that way is because they have nothing better to do.
Hell, they're on street corners because they have no jobs and they have no food.
They chill. They don't really argue or fight back.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
They're pretty chill. They got good vibes.
Also notice that none of these people uploaded anything to social outside of what was taking place in that hotel and a few guided tours.
Because they weren't allowed to. Hassan, I don't know if it's in this clip. I might not have the clip on me. But Hassan openly ends up saying, hey, we took some interviews, but they're probably not going to go up. They're probably we talked to some people, but we didn't really record them. I wonder why. I wonder why that is. I wonder why you're never going to see those interactions. I really do wonder why that's never going to happen.
It's remarkable to me. Yeah, they seem to be fine. Really? They're fine. They're rolling back, but they're cool with it. Doesn't have to be. And it's been going on for decades. This is not new. Here's something else I couldn't believe that this was said out loud. And just picture someone saying this, like, yeah, the Africans in Africa suck, but the Africans in America are cool, or vice versa. This is exactly what
it would be more like if the Africans and Americans suck, but the Africans in Africa are awesome. That's kind of more how it is.
Hassan said the Cubans in Miami, the people who fled Cuba,
the people that risked their lives to get on a raft to travel, I think it's 20 miles of open water to get here. The people that potentially went into Guantanamo and risk mines and dying. The people that actually risked their lives to leave the country. They're the wrong ones.
They're actually bad. But the Cubans in Cuba are cool. So don't listen to the Cuban Americans who tell you it's bad. Listen to Hassan Piker.
Not in Miami. Oh, dude, it's the reversal. Actually, literally, like, exact opposite. Like, all the good Cubans stayed here, and most of the ones that are crazy just like flew up there.
Wow, that internet connection, buddy, over in Cuba, your new favorite home, your new favorite country, man, that internet connection.
I swear to God, I had a really funny experience with that. It's like,
I'm probably wrong with those miles, Static. I probably am wrong. I don't know if it's 20 miles of open water. I don't remember off the top of my head. But we'll keep this going. Then I'll look up that info.
We get in the car. We get into Uber last night. Marsh and I are about to discuss that we're gonna be in Cuba, like talking about plans, right? And I was like, March, don't say anything, because I noticed that the dude in the car.
By the way, I just looked it up. I was wrong by a lot. Oh. I was wrong on those numbers by a lot. It's actually 230 to 300 miles between Cuba and America. I thought it was 20 miles. That's my bad. I got that one really wrong. I got it right here on my phone. I got it right here on my phone.
Car was a Miami Cuban. I was like, I literally went, don't say anything. And then I just asked him. I was like, where are you from? And he's like, oh, Cuba. And I was like, okay. And I just asked him about, like, what his feelings are about what's going on. March actually spat some Spanish at him.
Oh, how worldly.
Okay. And let me tell you, okay?
Tell me.
He said, Donald Trump needs to finish the job. That's what he said. That was the first guy.
Yeah.
I wonder why he would say that. I wonder why a man who risked, and again, we fact checked this just here because, yeah, I got it wrong. I'll take my L. Slap me with those L's. Plant a big old L on my head because it was not 20 miles. I was way off with that one. 230 miles to 300 miles via a raft. His family traveled that to get here. Risking his entire life. Leaving what he knew behind. Because they knew it was better over here than it was over in Cuba. So many people risked their entire livelihoods to do that. And the several others wanted to do it. I'm gonna shout it out, the Spanglish story. Okay, the Spanglish generation interview that Steven Crowder did just last Friday. Go watch it. She was born in Cuba. And the main reason she was born in Cuba is because her father refused to leave Cuba, because when he was given a chance to actually flee Cuba, he stopped because he was in charge of a church and they were told that the moment he leaves, the government's coming in to take over this church. He said no to stay so he could protect that church because he didn't want to fall into the government's hands. So she actually had to live in Cuba, and they gave up going because they tried to at least protect a little bit of what they knew, because they didn't want the government to take over something that they loved. They gave up that opportunity and let a bunch of dissidents flee. People were willing to go no matter what, but they got trapped there. There's still people willing to flee. I wonder why. I wonder why that is.
Yeah, and so
I
would
did JS
every
Pena.
single Cuban American and Cuban who thinks that they're actually speaking under legitimate terms of anonymity. All of them. At a certain point, they can't all be wrong. But let me get this straight. The guy who's vacationing in Cuba as part of a propaganda tour cheering the government wants to educate the man who lived in Cuba as to why it's actually great?
Yes. Yes, he does. Because Hassan, the Turkish communist, knows better.
This was
this is white privilege incarnate. The thing that they go out there and bitch and moan about, this is that incarnate. He knows better than the person that actually lived under it. And he wants you to shut the hell up because you don't know what it is that you're talking about. It doesn't matter that you actually lived it. You have your own lived experience. You know, the thing that you guys love to talk about so much. He knows better.
This entire weekend.
What an arrogant asshole.
Yeah. I think it's worse than arrogance. I think these people, they don't want you to know that they support communism. They would love to see a global communist takeover. They've let you know, Cuba, great. America, bad. Communism in Cuba, better than Donald Trump in the United States. And then the irony is lost on them. If you're wondering why Hassan Piker didn't live stream any of the interviews, well, he explained that too without a hint.
Oh, we have the clip. Okay, this is the clip that I wanted.
Irony.
Most of the interviews will be off the stream because it's like very difficult to, it's very difficult to get around. Not as bad as like you would think, but it's still obviously a bit of a pain to get around. And also on top of that, there's severe.
Why don't you just party and vibe
limitations here? The energy grid is currently stable, luckily. But as you guys,
the energy grid is currently stable. That's why after we did our big old party, excuse me, everything else ended up shutting down. Everything else ended up shutting down, but not where we were at.
No, the energy grid was taken out for like 24 hours.
By who? Just not in your hotel and the government buildings.
And the government won't let him go anywhere is probably what he's saying. Like, oh, it's hard to get around. Like, you'd be surprised. Why? They have cars. Don't they have cars there? I thought you could get around. Or maybe they want you to stay at the quote-unquote not-so five-star resort.
Right.
I don't think they have a ton of cars. But
they do have quite a few. They're all from the 50s.
I'm sure he doesn't want to advertise how hard it is to get around for people because it has been for years and years and years. And it's not a new thing. I'm sure he doesn't want to advertise that.
So stupid.
Also, he's not allowed to leave the premises.
Yeah.
That's more than likely what it is. And I'm gonna stop this clip here. Continue watching it because they start going into other directions with it all. But I want to keep hitting this Hassan thing because I want you guys, before we go too far, I want you to. This is the background, okay? This is the background, and I'm pointing out these backgrounds for a reason. Here's him drinking his espresso. Here's the background. We go back over here. That's the same background. 5-star hotel. This is his 5-star hotel. We could go to all these clips. 5-star hotel background. This is all the 5-star hotel background. The reason, same exact room. Everything about this is the exact same. And the reason I'm doing this is because recently Hassan addressed this thing, and then we'll go into more of the stuff. But Hassan addresses the tiny espresso cup, says it was served at a friend's house and not room service. So here's the hotel. So here's this. Here it is. And then here's him. Same spot, different day. We can go over to other areas. It's the exact same clip. I have other areas. Exact same spot. Not here. This wouldn't be up. I think it's here. No, this is back when he's at home. This is this exact same spot. So all these clips are apparently not from the 5-star hotel according to him. But let's see. Let's listen to it from the horse's mouth himself.
But we got to replay that last part.
Experiencing that dichotomy is like definitely me up. Definitely.
You couldn't have done that better if you scripted it. I bet he has a Grey Poupon suppository.
Like, I don't understand. I'm literally not even in the hotel here.
I call bullshit. Every clip that we are seeing is from this exact spot. All your streams were done in the exact spot. You want me to believe that now, magically, the one time that you're drinking out of the espresso cup, you're not in the exact same hotel? Bull fucking shit.
For the record.
Hell, actually, let's get a better view of this again. Let's get a better view, because when you go over to him drinking out of that espresso cup. Look at that background. Now I could believe maybe this is somebody's house. Maybe this is somebody else. But whenever I see outlets that are designed like this, that are built into the wall, that are looking like this, I always think, that's definitely a household outlet right there. That's definitely an outlet from a household. This is the exact same clip where he's drinking out of the espresso. This is somebody's fucking house, according to him. Bullshit. Bullshit.
I'm at a friend's house.
Why didn't you say, okay, if you're now at a friend's house, why didn't you stay at that friend's house the entire time? Why didn't you stay there? You have a friend there. Why aren't you staying with your friend's house? Why did you go up to the 5-star hotel? Why didn't you just stay with your friend? Why were you forced into that 5-star hotel? You're streaming out of a friend's house, apparently. Why did you stream out of the friend's house and then go back to the 5-star hotel? Why didn't you just stay with your friend? It's because he's lying.
Okay. This was a local's home that I'm in.
Bullshit.
Okay. And not only that, but like, yeah, Ryan Grimm made me a fucking coffee.
Oh, they just made you a coffee randomly. They just made you a little coffee randomly. Bullshit.
Are they saying it's because I'm drinking coffee like a gay guy? Like, what the fuck is this?
No, it's because you're drinking a decadent coffee in a country that has nothing.
Like, yeah, it's a tiny cup, man. I'm a massive guy. It's a Cuban coffee. What the fuck's the problem? This reminds me of enjoy your fancy burger, Mr. President. Yeah.
Story up his butthole. By the way, his glasses cost $1,400.
Yeah, broke boy. What's up? Yeah.
No, that's not the point. The point is that you have decadency, all while trying to say that you're helping out the Cuban people when you're not. You stayed in a 5-star fucking hotel, drinking expensive coffees, doing all this while the people of Cuba have nothing. $13 a month salary. You are a monster and disgusting human being.
I got swag, bitch. What are you going to do about it? Suck my
times the average Cuban salary and 4 times what I pay my right.
Dumbass.
It is so much more. Oh, that little bit there. That little bit. You told him to suck your dick. You told him to suck your dick. I thought you had great swag. I thought you had wonderful swag.
Times what I pay my right.
Dumbass. Anything that you wear is going to be like 3 times the average Cuban salary.
No. No. This shirt's like $10. Yeah, this hat is a little bit much, but most of my hats are actually free that I get from work. Most of my clothes aren't anywhere near that. My daily attire is probably about $40. I wear $20 jeans, if that, every single day. My freaking shorts I have on right now are like $3. No. If I want to dress nicer, yeah, I have an outfit that's probably about $100, probably. But that's it. I don't have clothes like you. My outfit, I could look the exact same like the people over in Cuba, easily. Granted, I had a couple $100 pair of sunglasses, but we're not talking about those right now. When was the last time you bought a shirt and jeans? When was the last time you bought a shirt and jeans? I need to buy jeans again, but I always price those out. I always buy like $20 pair of jeans over at my I go literally when I buy jeans, guys, I'm not even joking about this. I go to Farmer Supply and I pick up like 4 pairs of jeans because I get money back from my company. I get $100. I buy 4 pairs. Those last me a year. That's pretty much what I do.
It's a very poor island. We've kept it poor. That's the point.
No, we did not keep it poor. We didn't keep it poor. The Cuban government kept it poor. But hey, you're not going to talk about that a little bit. You want to now just virtue signal because he took a good old knob at how your decadency compares to the people of Cuba that you said you were there to work for. But hey, we're going to go back here. We have this. Hassan explains the difference between Miami Cubans. Oh, we already watched that clip, so we don't need to do it again. Here's more confirmation about like the decadency and elegancy of what Hassan was actually wearing. I applaud this man's bravery. He flew from LA to Miami first class, endured a 30-minute flight on a coach, stayed one night in a 5-star hotel, made tens of thousands of dollars streaming the whole ordeal, and was back in time for March Madness. Truly a socialist icon. That's from H3H3, but we got more. Did you know he once considered going to Gaza? $1,300 glasses right there. Oh, what we got here? These dumb MFers went to Cuba to throw a rave for themselves with the last drops of oil on the island. Bouncy castle slide for Cuba. Don't worry, everyone. They painted a mural, which is government approved, by the way. And I can't read that little bit, but hey, we got more. We have Hassan addresses backlash surrounding the kneecap performance. Oh, you're actually gonna address it. Well, let's see, because I mean, this is some insane stuff right here, bro. This is some insane stuff. Like, your performance ended up costing the rest of the country all of its power for a time being. But what is your reasoning?
I basically landed in Cuba and spent every moment that I had. I didn't participate in a lot of the stuff and any of the stuff really that
bullshit, because you would not be allowed to do that.
The Progressive International was doing. Which is why it's also like additionally funny while they're on the one hand, they're lying about like the events that took place.
We're lying. You guys filmed it all. We saw what happened. We saw what went down, and we saw the aftermath. You're just lying now yourself because you're so scared because you know how bad this all looks.
On the other hand, they keep saying I was, a principal participant of the.
You were. You were one of the mainstays there. You were one of the main driving forces here. You were one of their big target audiences there. You were obviously one of the driving forces there.
These events that took place, I wasn't. I was actually hanging out. I didn't do anything with Progressive International, even though I love those guys and they did fantastic work out there.
So you didn't go out there to do any work. So you just went there for a vacation is what you're saying.
Because I locked in with Belly of the Beast, the independent news outlet in Cuba, one that I really, really leaned into. I mean, they're fucking incredible. Basically, I spent every moment just conducting interviews, like talking to regular Cubans.
You said those interviews aren't going to be happening. You said we're not going to be able to see these interviews. But you did all these interviews. You did all these interviews, dude, even though you said that these interviews aren't going to happen.
Talking to people that are doing incredible work and investigating like how this complex system of restrictions has actually harmed Cuban production every step of the way.
Because the government doesn't have the resources to actually, do anything now. So they're hoarding it all because they always hoard it all. They've only ever hoarded it all. The people don't get the stuff. But hey, you're going to act like you know better.
Kneecap participated in one of the many daily festivals that happen during the day.
In one location that ended up drawing out all the rest of the power in their surrounding area. They ended up causing the rest of the country to go dark outside of the 5-star hotel that you stayed at.
Okay. That festival that they participated in had Cuban musicians that were also
only allowed to sing via the government, because in 2018, again, the government said that you have to be approved by us to even do any artistic outings. So it's all just commie propaganda.
Participating in it. It was free for all Cubans to attend, and
it's free because they have no money.
Overwhelmingly Cubans that were there.
That were approved by the government.
It blows my fucking mind that these people can be so cynical and so gross.
We're cynical and gross. We didn't throw a party that cost the rest of Cubans all their power for the remaining days. We're not the ones that caused a massive blackout on the island that has no resources right now because the government hoards it all.
That they think that like regular everyday Cubans don't want to experience fucking joy. It blows.
Wait, I thought you said they experience joy all the time. I thought you said that they experience joy constantly, that they're chill, they're always out there partying, they're having a good old time right now. You guys had to come over there to give them joy? I thought they always experienced joy. That's what you said. They were always experiencing joy.
It blows my mind. You just don't even want to think. Like, you literally can see it. You can see it in real time. You can see Cubans dancing, singing, having a good time.
You said they were always doing that. You said they were constantly doing that, but now, but you guys had to come there and give them joy.
And you're like, oh, they must be brainwashed.
We know that they're only allowed to do this via the government. 2018, all art is sponsored by the government. You are not allowed to put up murals, art, sing songs, or do anything without the government's approval.
Someone was claiming that they were being bribed with treats.
They actually probably were. Think about it. You're throwing this massive party, putting out all this food here. People that get nothing all the time, you think they're going to go to the party? Hell yeah, they are. That makes sense. It is a bribe.
And then I come back and I see people on the sidelines trying to do their very best to continue justifying the asphyxiation that we have implemented on this island.
Oh, it's our fault, guys. Again, it's all our fault. America bad.
The people died because you morons threw a giant party and sucked up all the electricity. These are fucking Cubans, man. These are everyday Cubans having a great time.
No, they're allowed to have a great time right now because, well, the Communist Party is allowing them to do it. And then you killed people. You caused this. Own up to it. You don't want to because you know how bad this looks. You know how awful this looks right now because you're a scumbag, Hassan.
On a free concert.
It was free, guys. It was free. We gave them joy. It was free. It was free. Ignore the fact that lives were lost. Hospitals lost power. The rest of the country all lost power after this event. Ignore all that. They had fun. They had joy. It was free. They got food. We gave them a party and then everybody died.
That was thrown together. And it wasn't just...
It was thrown together. Bullshit. No, the Communist Party had to accept it. Again, that little law, that little thing the dictator put in back in 2018, he had to approve all of this stuff. Quit acting like this is just a happenstance event. He had to approve everything.
His kneecap was like, Cuban artists that were also participating in it.
Communist artists that were allowed by the government.
I say you're a fucking insanely indecent person and you should really think hard about why you're repeating obvious moronic lies that MAGA is spamming on the timeline.
You caused this. We're not the disgusting person here. I didn't go over to a country and lose up the last of their power. I didn't do that. You did. You participated in it and now you're justifying it. Good for you.
Vicious scumbag. Five-star hotel powered by generators while the local hospital goes dark. You are truly, genuinely a psychopath.
That's fact. That's a fact.
Wow. This guy is one of the biggest, most troubled, most schizophrenic, vulgar demons I have ever encountered in my fucking life. And he has the audacity to claim that he is a humanitarian and a liberal.
Are you going to refute what he had to say there? Are you going to refute it? You went to a five-star hotel that was powered via generators while the rest of the country didn't have any power. We saw the videos. We saw it all. You guys threw a big old party. All the power went out. Your little area had power. We see it all day and night. Are you going to refute any of this? No, you're just going to try to grandstand and moralize and say that you're the good one when they're calling you out because you deserve to be called out because you are a scumbag, a monster, a vile individual, somebody that should be criticized over and over again because quite frankly, you're awful.
Shame on this fucking piece of shit.
Why?
Shame on you.
Why? Refute what he has to say. Did you not cause that? Was that not something that happened?
Unfucking believable. Unfucking believable. I wasn't even in Cuba when I tweeted this, for the record. Cubans are regular
Doesn't matter if you weren't in Cuba when you tweeted it, you still participated in it.
People. Cubans are regular ass people. They enjoy music. They want to fucking go to a concert. They want to live their lives in spite of the fucking ridiculous blockade, right?
Yeah, they want to do that because they are not allowed to do that. They're never allowed to do that. That's why they want to do that.
In spite of the crippling blockade. This is the Kneecap Boys participating in a public free concert.
Hosted, put out by the government, and authorized via the communist government.
That was put together for Cuban artists, okay? And they were like, oh, we're here. Let's do it. We'll also participate in this concert. So they also gave a free performance for every Cuban that was in attendance. And these...
Oh, now you just changed it. You said all the Cubans could go there. It was free. It was free. It was free. Oh, but you had to be in attendance. How do you become a part of the attendance? Oh, you have to be approved by the government, probably?
People. And this concert is just mostly Cubans, right? Like, it's just... A lot of people were like, oh, they did a concert for just like the wealthy fucking tourists or whatever.
It was for the wealthy tourists. It was put on for the wealthy tourists and the government officials. That's what it was doing there.
No, it's just mostly Cubans, you fucking idiot.
Cuban officials?
Did you hang at the Malecon at night? People are dancing, making music all night long. It's beautiful. Yeah. I didn't.
That's not even true.
I went to just a couple different like
Wait, yeah, they're doing it, but you didn't know.
Bars. The first night I went to a bar with the Kneecap Boys, it was awesome. I had a
but you hung out with these people. Oh,
great time there. We just dumped a lot of cash to the best of our ability.
All that money ends up going into the government.
On everyday Cubans.
Oh, you put those people in risk now, buddy. That's not how that works. You just put all those people at risk because you can't just give them money. All that now is going to be tracked and the government's going to be coming for them. Do you not know this? You're not allowed to tip over there. People will lose their mind. You just giving them money, the government's going to be coming for them now. Congratulations, buddy. You put those people at risk. Man, I wonder how that's like.
But it was, it was much better, in my opinion, to just like go to like regular bars and regular restaurants that were, operating in spite of the circumstances, because it was
what circumstances?
There were just like real regular Cubans there.
Oh, there was just real regular Cubans at those places. But hey, we got a shot of all the money that you had there. Hey, again, Cubans, $13 a month, $13 a month salary.
Also, shouts out to the Hasanabi head at TSA that let me pass through without giving me too much grief, as I had wads and wads of cash on me. That was really funny. Because I walked through TSA and I got a fat stack on me. And it looks a lot more than it actually is because it's like small bills. That's what they told us. They were like, oh, like it's very, you should bring small bills and, just give people money, right? So I came in with this shit.
Oh, look at that.
Okay.
Look at that fat wad of dough right there. I saw ones on the back, but that's a 50 right there. That's a big old $50. That's a lot of money right there. Again, Cuban people only get $13 a month.
Okay. And this is...
Oh, that was a 20 on the other side.
It looks a lot more than it actually is. Okay.
Oh, really?
So...
It looks like a lot more than it actually is. It looks like a lot more than it actually is. That's a fat wad of dough right there. There's a 20 on the back and a 50 on the front. That's a fuck ton of money. I don't even think I could ever make up that much money. I don't even think if I withdrew my bi-weekly paycheck, I could make a stack like that. I doubt I could. There's probably several $1,000s here. Probably a couple 10 G's, maybe 10 grand right there. Because a lot of people don't realize, like, those big briefcases of money, that's actually not a whole lot of money in there. It's actually, it might look like a whole lot, but in reality, to make like 10 G's of money, you don't need a briefcase. It's just like one large wad. That's really what it is.
It looks a lot more than it actually is. Okay.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So basically,
decadence Big old wad of money, looking great, all there for the commies. All there for the commies.
What ended up happening is, what? Yeah, I walked in with a brick.
Yeah, I'm gonna brag about this, but it's not that big of a deal. I walked in with a brick. I walked in with a brick of dough.
It's not actually a brick. It's not
actually a brick. Motherfucker, we're doing this again. That's a literal brick of money right there. That's a brick of fucking money right there.
Yeah, I walked in with a brick. It's not actually a brick. It's not actually a brick. Don't worry.
It is a brick.
But
it's a literal brick of dough. That was a literal brick of money. I actually have the same dimension. Oh no, it would be a little smaller than a brick, just because the bricks are to have a larger. My engineering brain's coming into effect right now, but that's the size of a brick, more or less. More or less. Maybe on the length it's not there and on the width, but that depth, that's a fucking brick.
you are so lucky you got a fucking fan. I know, because he was looking at me like, he's like, bro, you're Hassan. I'm like, yeah. He's like, what the hell is that in your hand?
Do you think he's a fan, or maybe do you think that maybe he's pegging you because you might actually need to be, you know, looked over a couple times? Yeah, think about, reminder guys, Hassan was stopped by the TSA before. Remember that big old controversy of Hassan being stopped by the TSA and the government's after him and stuff. You think maybe they have to actually all know that, oh my god, there's this dude named Hassan that you might want to always just keep an eye out on to see what he's doing. You think maybe that's going on? He's not a fan, but he actually just is aware of who you are.
Is that just a brick? What the fuck? And I was like, yeah.
Is a brick slang for a specific amount? It might be, but that's a fucking brick right there.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm going to Cuba and like they're all small dollars. Like, don't worry.
$20 is a small dollar. $20 and $50. Those are small dollar bills right there. Those are small. Those are small. Go to the everyday American and look them in the eye and go like, yeah, I have this giant chunk of money right here, like this giant brick, but don't worry, it's just small dollars. It's a bunch of 20s and 50s. Are you serious? Where's the ones, 5s, and 10s? That's small. There was a 20 on one side and a 50 on the other. 1s, 5s, and 10s. Those are the small guys. 20s and 50s are the big, 20, 50s, and 100s are the big boys.
It's nothing crazy. Bro, you're gonna get robbed? Brother, the money is for the...
They're not gonna get robbed. They're not gonna get robbed. They have a bunch of freaking... They have literal soldiers protecting them, probably.
The people here, okay? So...
And all that money is just gonna go to the commie. It's just going to the commies.
Like... If someone were to rob me of this money, that would be like, I was going to give it anyway. You know what I mean? It's just, it goes to one guy rather than a bunch of guys. You fucking
That's not
idiot.
how any of this works. That's not how any of this works. So many people have gone over to Cuba, try to give tips, and they realize that's the no. You're not supposed to do this. But we got one more. Because not only, okay, we can't end this out on like this low mount, because we're already just showing off how scummy, how pathetic, how disgusting of a human being Hassan is, how awful this whole event was, how disturbing it actually looks. We do have to remind everybody that even while in Cuba, trying to help the Cuban people, the commies, the dirty commies, he still had to cry out about Asmongold. Asmongold cracks up at a tweet showing that Hassan's thinking about him on his Cuba trip. Even while in Cuba, he's still thinking about his butt boy, Asmongold.
Went to Cuba to sit in a hotel.
This is just pathetic. This is just sad and pathetic at this point in time. You went to Cuba and you still had to cry about Asmongold. You went to Cuba to go do your activism and you still cried your ass out over Asmongold. These aren't serious people. They're just blatant propagandists that don't give a crap. That's all they are.
Oh man, it's not a good place to be in, right? It's really not a good place to be in. Damn, that's too bad. That's really
sad.
just too bad.
Sad! Pathetic! He went to Cuba and still cries over the Roach Lord!
Wow. Well, you know, I gotta figure it out.
Just think, I've been on multiple vacations in my time, because I'm not going to call this an activist trip. This is a vacation for Hassan at the end of the day. These people just went on a luxurious vacation to Cuba. They're saying that they helped people out, but in reality, they're doing nothing more than propaganda work for the Cuban government. That's all they're doing. This was a sick, deplorable publicity stunt, all to help them feel good about themselves. But let's be real fair, okay? At the end of the day, they're sick, they're disgusting, they're monstrous individuals, and Hassan's the worst, but he just can't get that Roach Lord out of his brain because he loves them so much. You are all monsters. That's what it is. You're just sick and disgusting people.